Well, this word has been trending on Twitter, and it means that Meghan is no longer welcome in South Africa, as you're about to find out. Welcome back, my body language buddies. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy, and it would be great if you join us by just liking this video, subscribing, and hitting that bell. Let's get down to it. This is the opinion of most South Africans when you ask them what do they think about Meghan's first episode of her podcast when she began to talk about her experience there. Well, Meghan Markle doesn't care how she portrays South Africa. She must never step foot here ever again. Futsek Meghan. And futsek is a very strong word in Afrikaans, and it's because they are upset with all these claims that Meghan was in a housing unit, that they'd have no smoke detectors, and she made it seem like they were in the middle of nowhere. Case in point, before they even set off, her spokesman said she would be wearing cheap clothes and leaving her unique, expensive engagement ring at home. Why would she do that, and why would her spokesman say that publicly? And that is something that we also got from Tom Bauer's book, Revenge. However, during their discussions, the couple asked to meet the victims of South Africa's poverty, disease, and violence. Ahead of their trip, Meghan's spokesman announced that she would be wearing cheap, sustainable clothes and would leave her unique engagement ring at home. Why would she be interested in everybody knowing about this, and why did she do that? According to a piece by The Express, pictures taken during the Duke and Duchess of Sussex public outings in the past 2 days shows Meghan's finger being mostly bare apart from her wedding band and another thin gold ring. The decision, listen to this, the decision to take off the engagement ring may have been taken by Meghan herself, with one insider suggesting the Duchess wants to be low-key. The Palace insider told Express the Duchess took the decision to be low-key on this trip. I mean, you seriously think that not wearing an engagement ring, not wearing one ring, will make you look like low-key? That is the lamest attempt at disguise since Superman. Well, at least Superman made some kind of effort, but still. And there's a word that Meghan mentioned in her podcast: optics. People like Meghan Markle making it seem like going to South Africa was the bravest thing she has done, because South Africa is an uninhabitable place which almost took her son's life. All the time she's lying and was cuddled in a Cape Town mansion. She must truly, I'm not gonna repeat that word, but you get the idea. Here's the general sentiment of most South African about Meghan Markle making these claims. We're so poor in South Africa that we don't have smoke detectors. Then she goes on to say she is our sister. Futsek Meghan, and may you never set your feet in South Africa. You're a racist, bully, and a bloody, selfish, ungrateful human being. You're a liar. And speaking of lying, this is something that I haven't mentioned in my previous analysis of her first episode. This is the Empire State of avoiding a question with a word salad. Like, she was asked by Serena, how did you not bring Archie with you since you were so afraid of what just happened? And there comes this word salad from Meghan. I was like, can you just tell people what happened? And so much, I think, optically. The focus ends up being on how it looks instead of how it feels. And part of the humanizing and this is insanity. This is insanity. She dodged that question. She avoided the question and began with all this nonsense just to fill the air with noise. So it doesn't look like, well, what were you talking about? Why didn't you bring Archie with you, since you brought Archie at some point of the tour to Desmond Tutu? But you know, having common sense is not something that goes with the Harkles, not Meghan, and certainly not with Harry. Futsek Meghan is the most South African trend ever. I don't know what Meghan Markle did, but if my people says she must futsek, then she must futsek with immediate effect. And of course, the memes began rolling in. Meghan coming online to see she is trending, only to find out the meaning of futsek Meghan. And as for me, I was afraid to ask the meaning of futsek, and it's really easy. Futsek is South African slang term for F off. She succeeded in uniting our country in opposition because of how tone deaf not only the comments were against us as a host country, but also touching on the sensitive politics around South Africans and Zimbabweans. And this is the short version. Futsak is essentially the middle finger. And this is interesting. I think Mexi forgot that it's not such a dig at the royal family, but at the country housing and protecting her at the time. The housing unit, fire, and the fire alarms that never existed was actually aimed at the host, not the royal family. What's also relevant about all this nonsense is how, allegedly, Meghan Markle beats Joe Rogan on Spotify's US podcast charts. And yes, I checked Spotify's charts to confirm that our swipes had effectively beaten the Joe Rogan Experience on that ranking. Now, I have a theory about how this can happen, but there are very strong points on the internet. It may be something to do with the recent unique followers, which is a contributing factor in rank. Since our swipes is new, there's a spike in new followers, whereas Joe Rogan Experience may not have as many in the same time frame since they are already followers. Side note, lots of places sell follows. And you just have to do a simple Google search. People also ask, can you buy real Spotify streams? You can buy Spotify plays at as low as $4 for 1,000 plays, and Spotify followers at just $9 for 100 followers. There are a number of packages that you can choose from according to your needs. But what happens when the Express makes a poll about if people were going to listen to the Duchess podcast? Meghan Markle podcast is viscerated by readers as a staggering 98% won't listen. And here's the graphic if you want to see it for yourself. Will you be listening to Meghan Markle's podcast series? And with 15,000, more than 15,000 votes, no, 98%. Now, it's impressive the amount of marketing that this podcast has for its first episode. Banners, billboards, well, you name it, everything. They're really throwing money at this. So if they are throwing money buying billboards, they could be doing the same buying bots, maybe. Or maybe Spotify just hacked the chart and put them in first place to see what happened. But in the end, you know what? Spotify doesn't really care about the wife's podcast or her guests or the content. Spotify just cares about the brand awareness and the global trending, even if it's for the wrong reasons. They never thought of profitability. It was just bait for attention. What's interesting is that most of these episodes are already recorded and they are already set up to go. What are we going to find in the following days? What are we going to find in the following chapters? Well, I'm gonna make a guess that it's not gonna be that good for either the Harkles or Spotify. My body language buddies, my name is Jesus Enrique Rosas, I'm the body language guy, and until we meet in another video or another live, remember, much love and bliss. Take care because I love you all.